Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Thank you, everybody, for tuning into us here on Speaking of the Devils. I'm recording from a bit of a different location, as you can see this time. I actually tried to go live a little bit earlier today, but I ended up forgetting a piece to this one piece of equipment that I have, so that's on me. Big L on my part. The Devils lose again, and this one feels like if last lost was not a dagger in this dreary season that the New Jersey Devils have been having in 2025, 26, then this one is the true dagger. I mean, this is this is the final nail in what is a miserable season for the New Jersey Devils. They lose 3-0 to the Columbus Blue Jackets on their home ice. In the third period alone, I mean, look, I think there were parts of the game where the first two periods they outplayed them. It was sure as crap. It was boring, but the unacceptable result is the fact that that Columbus outshot them 13-7, and at one point it was like 10-3 or something like that. In the third period there. But I can't talk about any of this till I know that we are live. So somebody let me know in the comment section below if we are live, and I will get to it. Before we get into any of this, we want to thank our friends at New Spine for sponsoring us here on Speaking of the Devils with 7 locations. They are New Jersey's leading institute for minimally invasive spine surgery. Live your best life pain-free. Visit newspine.com. That's nu-spine.com to find a location near you. I don't say this lightly. Okay, I covered the team for a year during one of their most disastrous teams, during one of their more disastrous seasons. The Devils are the Giants on ice. They are the New York Giants on ice. Another disastrous, distraction-filled week for the Devils, and it's continuing now with some even more losses. So that's a mess right now. They fall on the season to 28, 26, and 2. And again, they've lost now 2 in a row, losing to the Ottawa Senators. I think they've lost 4 out of their last 5 games, too. Someone would have to correct me on that. Let's go a little bit, I guess, goal by goal tonight if we want. Just go through some of my notes. There's not many. Den Heinen had a goal, but it was called back because Miles Wood, unsurprisingly, just barreled into the net. I'm sure we've all seen that one before, of course. He barreled into the crease on his own accord, so that ended up being goalie interference. This was the most boring period. The first period was the most boring period of hockey that I think I've seen all season, and there's been some doozies. Sheldon Keefe hockey, and I questioned him after the game about this. His post-game commentary was fascinating. Sheldon Keefe hockey is boring. If nothing else, that's the big crime of this New Jersey Devils team is you turn them from a young, exciting, off the rush, quick, skilled team into a boring product. Okay, like forget the wins and losses, which there are more losses than there are wins over the past couple of years. It's the fact that this was an exciting product. That in and of itself should be a fireable offense, but the results are obviously even more so fireable than that, as we see the Zambonis going behind us there. The Devils, the brand of hockey they play under Sheldon Keefe has been all, it's been a focus on two-way, an emphasis on two-way as opposed to leaning into what made them what they were at their peak, which is, again, skilled, off the rush, kind of rope-a-dope kind of team. But it worked. It was successful, that 22-23 team. I mean, crap. Look, we're all sitting here right now, and we're dreaming of Lindy Ruff hockey. I told people I would do this tonight. I'm going to do it right now. I'm delivering. This is a public apology to Lindy Ruff. That I need to be accountable for that, for firing the guy 2 years ago. In print, obviously, no real say over his job status or anything like that. But the Devils would be way better off right now if they had Lindy Ruff as their head coach. That's how dire things have gotten. So it's right now. I mean, look, the boringness, I guess, of most of this game and some of the season is probably by design, given the injuries they faced, given the fact that Markstrom was in net tonight, given the fact that Jack was out. But still, Keefe's system just doesn't seem to gel with this team. At this point, bring me Bruce Boudreau, like bring me a coach that'll get this team high flying again, right? That's what you kind of want right now, because the fun, I guess, nature of this team is now gone, and the what drove you guys to watch it. You guys will probably watch anyway just because you're fans, but I feel like there's less of a drive now for these casual fans to start watching it, and that's a testament to, or sorry, that's squarely on Tom Fitzgerald, and the blame has to be put on Sheldon Keefe too. I mean, I in his post game, which we'll talk about his post game commentary, very pointed comments, directly ripped his team, say they wilt in these third periods here tonight. That was on full display. I think Columbus out high danger chance them 4-1 or something ridiculous like that. I already mentioned the shot differential. I think it was 13-7. It was a pathetic product there in the third period, especially, and he's dead on. I mean, the Devils did wilt away. His post game comment, I guess we'll just get into it. He sounded like a man who was begging, pleading his GM to get him some other guys in here. I asked him very directly. I said, "Are you considering making any major shakeups here? Be that staff changes, be that changes to the system." His answer was long and winding, and that's fine. He was kind of frustrated tonight, rightfully so. The team is a mess. He had a couple shots at us reporters too. He shot at me directly about my attendance at practice, which I thought was interesting. My situation. I've been very transparent about it. I've had to have some company mandated PTO days this year because I didn't use them all because I switched beats halfway through the year. So I thought that was an interesting little shot there from Sheldon Keefe. I mean, I understand the frustrations right now, but I feel like that's the last person you want to really call out right now. Just my 2 cents on it. Especially when you've had the results that you've had this year. But anyways, I digress. The results, his commentary after the game, he said that basically he's not getting enough out of the team. He directly called out the players' efforts, said that they wilt again in the third period. That is some pointed commentary at a team that basically sounds like, I'm trying to get my message through to these guys, and it's just not working. They're just not listening. I need some help. I need some outside help here, because right now, this roster, this core is not it. Tom Fitzgerald defended them when he spoke about the core in his his press conference a couple weeks ago. Sheldon Keefe, if you were to give him some truth serum, I bet you he would just go off on them. That's just the vibe that I get from the guy. But again, that's you can parse through yourself and watch this post-game presser. I thought it was very pointed. But anyways, I mean, look, I can talk about the third period. I mean, really the only few handful of notes that I have here is that the Devils' power play is now 0 for 11 in their last 11 chances. Obviously, the Jeremy Colleton has not been fruitful in that regard. The results have not been great, and that was another staff change that Sheldon Keefe made. Devils have trailed first in 32 out of 56 games this year, so the starts are clearly a finish too. And again, the shots were 10-3 at one point. That is unacceptable. This was a must-win game. The Devils' playoff chances are now down. I'm sorry you guys saw it on my tweet. They're now down to 5.6%. They were like, 8.9 coming into the game. They keep spiraling down. I mean, they're second to last in the conference, second only to the Rangers, who are obviously a dumpster fire, who obviously waved the white flag via statement this year. I think at this point, you'd rather be the Rangers, because at least they have a direction. They picked a direction. They told fans, hey, we're kind of packing it in this season. We're going to try, we're doing a retool. I think the Devils need to maybe come out with their own statement and call this maybe a retool. Because right now this current core is not it. And how many coaches are you going to let them spin around before you start calling out the players? I mean, look, Sheldon Keefe directly called them out tonight. He said that it's not a system issue, which I thought was interesting. He talked about his resume. He's coached for 20 years. Sure, agreed with that. You're an NHL coach. You have to be doing something right. The lack of playoff success, though, speaks for itself. The resume here in New Jersey speaks for itself. You have this golden opportunity with a bunch of former number 1 overall picks, players that should be talented, should be skilled, and should be great. But right now it's a mess. It's a disaster. and that has to be on YouTube. And at some point, you almost have to wonder if the Devils are just going to put him and Fitzgerald almost out of their misery in a sense, because the more that they trot them out there and have them face these terrible results and face the crowd in these terrible games, the more raucous the crowd is going to get. The more the Fire Fitzgerald chants, which were echoing, there was a smattering of them tonight from the unmotivated fan base right now, the apathetic fan base right now that stayed till the bitter end. They started chanting it. They were loud, not as loud as they could have been, because these games haven't been selling out either. Rightfully so. The product on the ice is boring, and the results have been lackluster at best, if we're being nice. That's all I have for my notes today, guys. Let's go into your wonderful, wonderful comments. And we start here with my friend Bokers, who I met last night at Sweep the Deck. Bokers, my man, how you doing? Devils GFA down a full point the last 2 seasons. Can't say system doesn't play a role. We are live. Fire Rogalski. Yeah, I mean, look, the Rogalski drum is one that I've been beating for a while. And that's, look, there's a reason tonight. Like, I'm not putting this one on Mark Sherman by no means. I think tonight was, the system being on full display of suck right now. But there's a reason I asked, like, are you, we see this status quo coming from the Devils right now. They keep losing. They win a couple games. They'll pull a random 5 out of 6. Win 5 out of 6 games out of their ass every now and then. But then they immediately follow it up by losing 4 out of their next 5 or something like that. I think that's the trend right now. So I asked Sheldon Keefe very directly after the game, if he's considering a major system change, if he's considering any staff changes. He didn't really address the staff changes part. He just put all the blame on the players. He very staunchly defended his system. You understand why he would. I'm sure his system could have good results. I just don't know if it's with this team, if it's with this core. I don't think it's a good. The marriage between Tom Fitzgerald and Sheldon Keefe has not been great. It's been actually downright bad. The team whittled away in the first round, to use Sheldon Keefe's terminology there, whittled away in the first round last year, losing 4-1. And this year they're on track to not make the playoffs. I mean, heck, if they did make the playoffs right now, it would be nothing short of a miracle, honestly, at this point. But, so I understand why Keefe is trying to defend his system, but at the end of the day, dude, like you also kind of have to look to yourself, and I know he's trying to deflect. Now he's trying to deflect blame on the players, who deserve a huge portion of the blame, don't get me wrong, but on us as well. Talking about we don't go to practice and everything like that. No, I won't get petty about this one. Sonic9123. Christy Flannery recommended us to listen to Keefe's post. What stood out to you? Was it him saying no one is doing beep and they're playing like AHL teams? Yeah, I mean, I think you summed it up well. He's talking about players. He's talking about like mistakes that players make, and he's basically saying like, okay, like these guys were just came up, these guys were just called up and everything like that. I think the defense of his system, the fact that he had very pointed comments towards his core. All very interested, candid post-game discussion from Sheldon Keefe that I highly recommend. I'm doing a pretty crummy job of summing it up right now. I guess maybe not really, because these really are the Spark. This is the Spark Notes version of it. Definitely go listen to Keefe's post-game commentary if you haven't had a chance yet, because he ripped into his team. I mean, if this is what he's saying to us, imagine what he's saying behind closed doors. Imagine what he's saying behind closed doors. I mean, it's got to be bombastic, to say the least. Rick Roma. Keefe coached the Leafs for 5 years, and I never once thought they were boring. This is a Fitz issue. We have bad ownership and a bottom 6 GM. Or bottom 3 GM. Why did I say bottom 6? Bottom 6, because it's hockey. I was talking about this with the smelly James Nichols tonight. I could use a better synonym, or I could use a better adjective to describe them. I'll think of one soon. The simple fact is that the Leafs, you're right, were never boring, but can we say that their players were a little bit more talented than these players? Maybe their core, Austin Matthews, I know he's taken a dip this year for sure. But between him and Marner, I mean, them alone, like they've all had, have had triple-digit point seasons. The Devils' core is not. So it's the talent thing. It's the and look, it's just the fact that I just don't think that the system right now gels with him. I don't believe that there is a mandate coming from above to have Sheldon Keefe implement a different system. I know that that's kind of been an online rumor and stuff like that. I have to do a little bit more digging into it, but anyone I've talked to about that has kind of poured cold water on that at least. I'm not going to sit here and say that you're wrong, Rick, in talking about the roster construction, and if you're throwing Fitz under the bus in that regard. And the worst part about all of this is that how does he even get out of this? You gave your whole team no move clauses. You can't even get out of this predicament that you're in right now. And not that trades would have gotten them out of it anyway. But heck, I say this right now, and as I'm thinking about it, the guys with no move clauses, they might just want to, skip town anyway because of how terrible this season has been. So that's definitely been interesting. Okay, let's go to after we said that we are live. And then we'll get into the regular comments if you guys don't have any more super chats. But thank you so much for sending in these super chats, guys. I have no idea how much it helps. Where the heck is it? We are live. People got to say that we are live, so I know that when to come off. We'll start here. We'll start here with Bokers. Yeah, no way I'm renewing. It's cheaper to buy. Okay. Yeah, we have a season ticket holder that is now not renewing. That's the state of the New Jersey Devils right now. Players aren't hiding behind the fact that they know the current predicament. I know Fitzgerald said he doesn't look at the standings. He probably should by now. The players certainly are. They were almost at a loss for words today when they were questioned, just about how you climb out of this rut, how things got to be the way they are right now. I think you should go listen to Jesper Bratt's postgame commentary as well. Jesper Bratt, who's now has the A on his sweater. Almost speechless in he ended up getting a quote off, but at the beginning he's almost hemming and hawing, stammering a little bit, trying to come up with words to describe how things went so south so quick. Stanley says Keefe seemed kind of pissed, but in a calm way. He definitely seemed pissed tonight. This was, again, I'm not going to complain. I think that this was some of the best post-game commentary that I've heard from Keefe. I heard from some of my fellow reporters that this is kind of how he got last year. But right now that's the mood of the team right now. It's pissed. They should be pissed. Keefe especially because if we're to believe his commentary that this is purely on the players, which I don't obviously 100% believe in that, then it's got to be frustrating as hell to navigate this day in and day out, and have to deal with that and if that is the case, Keefe is also kind of telling on himself in that regard, because he's basically saying like that my message has gone stale and you should fire me right now. He's basically putting a target on his own back. So I don't know if that's a sound strategy there from the head coach. Bokers, I just hate how he starts every presser off with, we did a lot of good things. He ended it well, but needs to be more honest and hold them accountable. If they can't handle it, they'll never win. I'll say this, Bokers. There's little doubt in my mind that if he's giving us candid commentary here, I bet you he's ripping into them behind the stream. Let's see. Sonic 9123 with another super chat saying, how can Brad not say they lost confidence? I think that you have to kind of read between the lines with Brad's statement. Maybe not the words in general, but maybe the, you just look at how he hesitated before this answer and given that answer, and that's why I recommend watching the video of it for sure. It did not sound like a guy that was all too confident. I mean, the team always talks about and rallies around this talking point of the process, and the process was good, and we love this process. If your process is leading to results like this, you should probably change the process. And that's why I questioned Keefe about the system tonight. That's why I did it. It's clearly not gelling with this team. It clearly needs a shakeup. The staff probably needs a shakeup. The core needs a shakeup. The organization needs a shakeup. Top to bottom, things seem rotten right now. Things are not good in Devil's Land. So that's, I think that there's little doubt that that they have that they don't have confidence right now. Pulp Mystic, GM is utterly lost for playoff drive. Fitz ices a team that's at least 50% AHL. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I would have to look at the, exact. Maybe that's a fun article idea, like trying to see which players belong in the NHL or not. But the past 2 seasons, I mean, look, you look at guys like even like Tomas Tatar, who's now playing overseas, and he had offers to play overseas until the Devils came in with another offer last year. Roster construction has been a major issue over the past 5 years, and now because it's coming to a head with the coaching, and the injuries came to a head this year, and it's just an ugly season from hell for the Devils. Now you're starting to see the frustrations kind of boil over, and you're starting to see the warts of this roster construction here. Alexander Johns, I'm still terrified Fitzy is going to buy at the deadline in some foolish attempt to save the season. We aren't making the playoffs. This is a great point, Alexander. This is exactly why Harris and Blitzer should come out right now, bite the bullet, and fire the GM and probably fire the coach. It's honestly embarrassing that the fact that they keep getting trotted out there and keep getting results like this. Team is not making the playoffs. They're going nowhere fast. And what happens when a team is not making the playoffs, but they're kind of on the precipice, like there's still somewhat of a chance, and they have a desperate GM running things? You know what's going to happen? Desperate moves are going to happen. I'm not sure ownership would sign off on them. We'll see. I would be shocked if they let Fitzgerald make significant changes that weren't, like they should be sellers the same. Fitzgerald should be gone, but if he isn't going to be gone, he should get the vote of confidence from ownership, so that he does like a Bruins-like sell-off last year where Boston sold off like Trent Frederick and a lot of guys like that, Charlie Coyle, a bunch of other guys like that, and got some serious assets for it. Like Boston now has Toronto's first-round pick this year, top 6 protector, top 5 protector, something like that. Whatever, you guys don't care. Sweeney was on the hot seat, and then he wasn't. And he sold off at the deadline. He got some good assets. And now the Bruins are good this year. They have a new coach, and they're good. I'm not saying that Fitzgerald should get a vote of confidence like that, but you can't let him hang out in limbo and try to run this team and try to save this team, because what you're going to get from that is just desperate moves. That's just the reality. And it's a sad reality. It's a sad reality that we're even talking about this. It's a sad reality that we're talking about freaking draft picks and everything like that, and Tankathon. We're talking about Gavin McKenna. What has happened to this New Jersey Devils team? What the heck? I mean, if I had told you that this was going to be the result at the beginning of the season, you would not have believed me. It's crazy. Christy 97, I don't get why they wouldn't try to put Nico with Timo and Brown when they had energy when he came out the penalty box, and Cody back with the rookies. I don't get why they look. I'm honestly at the point, Christy, right now where like stuff like that is too. It's almost too like minutia right now, like what they're gonna do with the lines and the line combinations and like everything like that, the day-to-day stuff, like who's injured, who's not. When I'm in seasons like this, I did it with the Giants last year. When you reach this point, the nadir of the season, you have to just start thinking big picture. Forget the lines. Who cares about the lines right now? Who cares about the injuries right now? You have to start thinking big picture, and big picture starts with the firing of Sheldon Keefe and the firing of Tom Fitzgerald. I got to put that first, and the firing of Sheldon Keefe, and completely restructuring this organization, which seems rotten right now from top to bottom. Michael Rokicki says, salute to the fans who did stay to the end. Yeah, I'll give them their props. That's really good. Let's see. KOC Meat Sandwich says, where is Jack? LOL. We'll see. I mean, that's going to be the big thing. I feel like it's going to be a bad PR storm if Jack does not play in Thursday's game against the Islanders. I get it. Maybe he's still resting. Maybe he's still not 100%. Sheldon Keefe said that he might be back. He's aiming to come back. Right now, it would be a bad look of all bad looks if he came back and then came back for the Olympics and he was all hunky dory. It would just be a really bad look there for young Jack Hughes. All right, guys, we are going to end the show there. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into us here on Speaking of the Devils. Sorry that we couldn't do it under more happy circumstances. Do you guys like the background? I think I'm going to do this little backdrop thing a little bit more. I wanted to do like a kind of a standing situation, but I will try to work that out next time whenever I have my equipment. I need to get my damn equipment. I like one little piece threw off my whole groove today. Continue watching, like and subscribe, tell your friends, do all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Talk to you guys after Thursday, and then we'll talk about what our schedule is going to look like over the break. We should have some good stuff lined up. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.